Hello, I'm Ollie. Welcome to Oxford Online English. In this lesson, you can learn about using modal verbs to express ability. If you don't know what modal verbs are or why you should care about them, watch this lesson, which gives you an introduction to the topic. So in this lesson, we're going to focus on using the verbs can and could to talk about ability. You will also learn about the verbs be able to and managed to. These verbs are not modal verbs, but we can't use can or could in every situation to talk about ability, so we sometimes need to use a different non-modal verb. First of all, let's look at using can and could to talk about ability. You can use can to talk about abilities in the present or the future. For example, she can speak Spanish very well. Or, can you come with us on Saturday? You can also use could to talk about general abilities in the past. For example, I could run much faster when I was younger. When I was younger is a general ability, so I could run faster any time I wanted. She could play the violin when she was a child. Again, this is a general ability about a longer period in the past. This is quite simple and I'm sure you're familiar with it. However, there are many situations where you can't use can or could to talk about abilities, and we need to use a different verb. One of these verbs is be able to. Generally, can and be able to have the same meaning, so you can usually use either verb without any difference in meaning. She can speak Spanish very well, or she's able to speak Spanish very well. These two sentences have the same meaning. I could run much faster when I was younger, or I was able to run much faster when I was younger. Again, there's no difference in meaning between these two sentences. However, you can't use can or could in every verb tense. If you want to use, for example, the present perfect form, there's no form of can or could which you can use. So in these cases, you need to use a form of be able to. For example, he's been able to swim since he was 2 years old. There's no way to use can or could in this sentence and keep the same meaning. We have to use be able to. I like being able to choose my own working hours. After the verb like, we need a verb with ing, so we need to use be able to. Again, there's no way to use can or could in this sentence. There are many cases like this. Generally, if you have a choice, it's better to use can or could because it makes your sentence simpler and shorter. We sometimes choose to use be able to, even when can or could are possible, because it sounds more formal. Okay, now let's look at ability in the past. Could versus be able to. This gets a little bit more complicated. Let's look at an example sentence. The traffic was really bad, but we could catch our train. Does it sound right to you? What do you think? If you said it sounds wrong, you're actually correct. This sentence is not right, it's not possible. Do you know why? The answer is, this sentence is talking about a specific ability at a specific moment in the past. In this case, you can't use could. You need to use a different verb. You could say, the traffic was really bad, but we were able to catch our train. Or, the traffic was really bad, but we managed to catch our train. In both of these sentences, we're talking about one moment. One train. It's a specific situation. That means we can't use could. We must use be able to or managed to. Let's look at some more examples. It was hard work, but we managed to finish everything on time. That means we finished something specific at a specific moment. Our car broke down on the way, but luckily I was able to fix it. I fixed it at a specific moment. It wasn't a general thing. There's one more important point here, which makes it even a little bit more complicated. This difference between general and specific situations only applies to positive sentences. If your sentence is negative, there's no difference between could and be able to. It's like most other cases, you can choose which verb to use and it doesn't matter. It was hard work and we couldn't finish everything on time. Or, it was hard work and we weren't able to finish everything on time. Because these sentences are negative, it doesn't matter if the situation is general or specific. It's now possible to use both forms, couldn't or weren't able to. Again, there's no difference in meaning in this case. So, to review, can or could and be able to generally have the same meaning unless you're talking about a specific situation in the past and the sentence is positive. If you're not sure about this, remember you can always use be able to in every case and never be wrong. Next, let's look at could in more detail. Could has two meanings. Look at two sentences. I couldn't help you because I had too much to do. I couldn't help you even if I wanted to. In these two sentences, the verb could is used in different ways. Can you see the difference? Here's a question to check your understanding. How would you use be able to in these two sentences? If you want to think about your answer, pause the video and think about it. In the first sentence, I couldn't help you because I had too much to do. The meaning is past. If we used be able to, we would say, I wasn't able to help you because I had too much to do. In the second sentence, could has a hypothetical or conditional meaning. To use be able to, we would say, I wouldn't be able to help you even if I wanted to. So, could can have two different meanings, a past meaning and a hypothetical meaning. You need to use the context of the sentence or the situation to understand what could means. For example, why couldn't he do it last week? The time marker last week shows you that this sentence is past and that could has a past meaning. We could work together if you wanted. Again, the end of the sentence with if, this shows you that could has a hypothetical meaning. Okay, let's review the important points from this lesson.
I am going to plus, verb. I am going to meditate tonight. I am going to have a coffee break. I am going to go to a bookstore. I am going to start a blog soon. I am going to take a break now. I am going to do some gardening. I am going to take a shower now. I am going to write a poem today. I am going to clean my room now. I am going to visit a friend today. I am going to ride a bike in the park. I am going to draw a picture today. I am going to start a podcast soon. I am going to take a walk in the park. I am going to watch a movie tonight. I am going to paint a picture today. I am going to write a novel next year. I am going to take a nap this afternoon. I am going to have a cup of tea now. I am going to play video games today. I am going to go to a party tonight. I am going to read a book in the park. I am going to visit a doctor tomorrow. I am going to go to the gym tonight. I am going to learn how to dance salsa. I am going to study English grammar. I am going to watch a soccer game. I am going to buy a new pair of shoes. I am going to join a book club next week. I am going to run a 5K race next month. I am going to bake a cake for my friend. I am going to make a cup of coffee now. I am going to make a sandwich for lunch. I am going to write a letter to my friend. I am going to learn how to play the guitar. I am going to learn how to sew a dress. I am going to start a new business soon. I am going to run a marathon next year. I am going to take a day trip to a nearby city. I am going to visit my family next weekend. I am going to try a new restaurant tonight. I am going to go shopping this afternoon. I am going to go shopping this afternoon. I am going to go to a concert next month. I am going to learn how to play the piano. I am going to go for a run in the morning. I am going to visit my parents this weekend. I am going to start a new hobby next week. I am going to go to a bookstore tomorrow. I am going to go to a movie theater tonight. I am going to take a yoga class this evening. I am going to learn a new language next year. I am going to have a conversation in English. I am going to go to a wedding this weekend. I am going to read a book before bed tonight. I am going to attend a yoga class this evening. I am going to buy a new computer next month. I am going to plant some flowers in the garden. I am going to attend a comedy show next week. I am going to try a new coffee shop this morning. I am going to try a new workout class next week. I am going to try a new recipe for dinner tonight. I am going to have a picnic in the park with friends. I am going to visit a local museum next weekend. I am going to attend a music concert next month. I am going to learn how to make sushi next week. I am going to go to a basketball game next week. I am going to clean the kitchen after dinner tonight. I am going to clean the kitchen after dinner tonight. I am going to watch a play at the theater next week. I am going to work on my art project this afternoon. I am going to take my dog for a walk in the park today. I am going to start learning a new language next month. I am going to have a meeting with my boss tomorrow. I am going to watch a documentary about nature tonight.